Okay, Pops, when you are selecting your seeds, what's important to remember?
Oh, you want to know, you want to have an idea how big your garden is going to be. Uh, if you have a concern about whether it's a hybrid or whether it's open pollinated, you want to deal with an organic source. I buy a lot of seeds from Johnny Selected Seed. I got seed houses across the country that donate seeds to us. A lot of it is organic. I can't call the names of some of those other organizations off the top, but you want to if it says aggressive that it has aggressive growth, then you can plan on it growing up a trellis and being intrusive perhaps if it says aggressive. So you need to read the seed catalog wisely and then spend money based on the size of your garden. If you do have extra seeds, share with a neighbor or a senior citizen or children in the neighborhood who want to have a garden.
Okay, when I get my seeds up and I get them going, what does the term hardening off mean?
Well, the term hardening off means that you're growing them inside your house or inside your greenhouse, and hardening off is the act of taking them outside for a couple hours each day, particularly on a cloudy day, leaving them out there, and then increasing the time that they're out there each day. Uh, Unless you got a cold frame. If you got a cold frame, a lot of times you can just simply put them in the cold frame. But that means the transfer from inside the house to out in the outside, and you want to have them out there for about a week. If it gets really windy, bring them in. I almost ruined a crop one year because it got really windy. And don't put your tomatoes in the sun because they'll get sunburnt. You want to put them in the shade,
Hmm.
and so that they can acclimate themselves to being outside. That's called hardening off.
Right. Okay, so what temperature would I be looking for to actually put them in the ground?
Well, you want your nighttime temperatures to be in the 50s. That's what I've read recently. And if the nighttime temperatures are in the 50s, then and it's solid around for Fort Wayne, Indiana, around May 21st, then I'm good to go. I'll put them outside. After they've been hardened off, I'll plant them in the garden as long as I know that there's not going to be a long. I look at the long-term weather report, and if the temperatures aren't going to be going down beyond 50, I'll put them in the garden around the 21st, and that's the average frost date for Northeast Indiana. Yeah.
What would
So I observe the weather. I do a lot of weather observation.
Okay. What so what would starting would you persuade people to start their own compost pile to get started gardening in order to save soil, or would you what how would you go about helping people gain knowledge to having not only a cost efficient way of having a growing medium, but also a good growing medium?
Well, I think they need to do their research about the different plants and vegetables that enhance compost. I think according to where they live, they may need to beautify. They may not want to compost it in the manner that I do. That's simply having a pile of material at the farm. But if they're in a zoned area, highly residential neighborhood, they may want to have beautification flowers around this structure. It may the neighborhood may have some guidelines about what this compost is going to look like or how they're going to compost if they do. So they need to consider all that. They don't want to offend their neighbors, but certainly you can take the. It's like fulfilling to take what is considered waste and to turn it into a valuable soil amendment. And that's what banana leaves do for you. Banana leaves contain a lot of potassium, and you can see the effect. If you bury banana leaves around tomatoes, you can see the effect that those leaves, those banana peels will have because they will actually green up that tomato plant. It'll look healthier. And then other plants or vegetables have a beautiful way of improving the vitality of plants as well. So when you add that to your compost pile, you enhance the power of your compost pile. When you start to compost with worms, it doubly increases the vitality of your compost because the worms will leave their waste in it, and that's Gardner's Gold, the worm castings. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Dad.
So composting is very important, and reading your reading your, looking at your insect book and understanding the different kinds of insects, when they come, how they come, where they're at, the damage they cause, and then
That's
reading your seed catalog.
that's a tall tale sign that the compost is ready to go though.
What's a telltale sign?
Once worms enter into it, it's cool enough to
Well, yeah. Once
apply
in a while,
it to.
But I have a compost thermometer. Have you seen it? I've got a probe that you can actually place in the compost, and he'll tell you what temperature it is. And we're going to use that to check the temperature of the garden before we even think about planting anything. We're going to go 4 inches down. We're going to check the temperature at 4 inches down. And if it's 50 degrees at 4 inches down, then we might plant some green beans. We might plant some green beans because I was reviewing the temperature requirements for that. But we're going to check a compost pile. We'll probably put it on YouTube too with that compost thermometer.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're not going to get in a rush because we've got a lot of plants that we've taken a lot of time to grow, a lot of energy, and so we're going to. But we are going to be diligent. But we're going to plant when the temperature of the soil moves within a parameter where the seeds will germinate. Because if you put green bean seeds in cold soil, they're just going to rot. So you want to wait until it's appropriate, and they'll pop right up. What they won't do is germinate readily in cold soil, green beans. And that's what I've reviewed that from researching last night.
All right.